Health Talk made simple by Aziz. Did you know about 1 in 10 people will have a kidney stone in their lifetime? It's a striking fact. Within your circle, someone has likely felt the sharp, unforgettable pain of a stone. Stones are not just a nuisance, they can threaten kidney health. Understanding the risk is the first step to protecting yourself. Today we'll simplify what stones are, how they damage kidneys, and how to treat and prevent them. Some stones pass unnoticed, others cause severe, sudden pain. It's a clear warning sign. My goal is not alarm, but empowerment. Let's begin a simple, practical path to better kidney health. You've probably heard of them and maybe even winced at the thought. But what exactly are kidney stones? To understand them, we need to take a look inside the urinary system. At their most basic, they are hard, stone-like masses that form inside your kidneys from crystals found in your urine. A helpful, if slightly less appetizing, analogy is to think of how rock candy forms. You start with a supersaturated sugar solution. Over time, sugar crystals begin to form and cling to a string, growing larger. Kidney stones form in a similar way, but instead of sugar and water, we're dealing with minerals and urine. To understand how these stones form, we first need to appreciate the incredible work our kidneys do. These two bean-shaped organs are your body's master filtration system. Every day, they process about 120 to 150 quarts of blood, sifting out waste products and excess fluid. This waste and fluid then becomes urine. Normally, this urine contains various dissolved waste minerals, such as calcium, oxalate, uric acid, and phosphate. These are byproducts of our metabolism and the foods we eat, and it's the kidney's job to flush them out. The problem arises when your urine becomes too concentrated with these minerals, or if it lacks certain substances that naturally inhibit crystal formation. When the conditions are right, these crystals can bind together, creating a solid nucleus. Over weeks, months, or even years, this tiny speck can gradually grow larger as more crystals attach to its surface. Most stones, thankfully, remain very small, like grains of sand, and are passed out of the body in the urine without you ever noticing. However, some can grow to the size of a pea or even a marble. In rare cases, they can become much larger, forming a staghorn stone that fills the entire collecting system of the kidney. The characteristic, often severe pain of a kidney stone attack typically occurs when a larger stone moves out of the kidney and gets lodged in the narrow tube called the ureter, blocking the flow of urine. Not all stones are the same, and knowing the type is crucial for effective treatment and, most importantly, for preventing more from forming. The most common type, making up about 80% of cases, are calcium oxalate stones. They often form when there's too much calcium or oxalate in the urine. Uric acid stones are next, forming in persistently acidic urine. They are often associated with diets high in animal protein and conditions like gout. Struvite stones are less common and are linked to chronic urinary tract infections. They can grow very large, very quickly, with little warning. Finally, cystine stones are rare and are caused by a genetic disorder that leads to an excess of the amino acid cysteine in the urine. To understand how to prevent kidney stones, we first need to know how they form. It might sound complex, but when we look closer, it's a process we can break down into a few simple, manageable steps. Step 1 begins with the incredible work of our kidneys. Think of them as the body's master filtration system. Day in and day out, they tirelessly filter our blood, removing waste products and excess fluid to produce urine. This urine isn't just water, it's a complex solution containing various dissolved minerals and salts like calcium, oxalate, and uric acid. Under normal circumstances, this is a perfectly healthy and essential process. To keep these minerals from clumping together, healthy urine contains natural stone inhibitors. A key player here is citrate. Citrate molecules act like tiny bodyguards, binding to calcium and preventing it from joining with oxalate to form the initial seed crystals. As long as you have enough of these inhibitors, the minerals stay dissolved and are harmlessly flushed out. Now for step 2, concentration. This is the tipping point. If you're not drinking enough fluids, or if you're losing a lot through sweat, your kidneys conserve water. This makes your urine more concentrated, turning it a darker yellow. This high concentration of minerals and salts creates a state called supersaturation. Imagine trying to dissolve too much salt in a small glass of water. Eventually, the salt starts to settle at the bottom. In the kidneys, the same thing happens. The inhibitors are overwhelmed, and the minerals begin to crystallize. Step 3 is growth. Once that first seed crystal forms, it acts like a magnet. Other free-floating mineral particles in the supersaturated urine begin to stick to it. This process continues, adding layer upon layer. Over weeks, months, or even years, these microscopic seeds can grow into macroscopic stones, sometimes reaching the size of a pea or even larger. And that brings us to step 4, trouble. As long as the stone stays anchored in the kidney, it might not cause any symptoms. But eventually, it can grow large enough, or be dislodged by the force of urine flow. It then begins its journey out of the kidney and into the ureter, the very narrow tube that connects the kidney to the bladder. If the stone is small enough, it may pass without you ever knowing. But if it's too large to fit through this narrow passage, it gets stuck. This blockage is what causes the excruciating hallmark pain of a kidney stone attack. The urine backs up, causing the kidney to swell and stretch, which activates pain receptors and creates intense pressure in your flank and back. So let's recap the key drivers. Remember, the kidney's filtration process is normal. The problem arises from 2 main factors: urine that is too concentrated with minerals, and a lack of protective inhibitors to keep those minerals dissolved. This is precisely why prevention strategies focus on hydration, to dilute the urine, and targeted dietary changes, like increasing citrate, to boost your natural inhibitors. By addressing these root causes, you can see how small, consistent daily habits can prevent these big, painful problems from ever starting. But what happens when a stone does cause a blockage? How do stones actually harm the kidneys over time? Pain is famous, but long-term kidney damage is the real concern. A stuck stone acts like a dam, obstructing urine outflow. Kidneys keep making urine. It backs up behind the blockage. This causes hydronephrosis, swelling and rising internal pressure. Pressure compresses tiny vessels, reducing blood supply. Without oxygen, kidney cells suffer and may die. Short blockages can heal. Prolonged ones can leave permanent loss. Relieving blockage quickly is a top priority. Blocked, stagnant urine invites infection. Bacteria can ascend to the kidney. Pyelonephritis. Infection plus blockage is an emergency. Sepsis can occur. Treat fast with antibiotics and drainage. Repeated stones, blockages, or infections cause scarring, fibrosis. Over time, scarring lowers function. One stone rarely causes total failure, but recurrence adds up. Classic symptom: severe, sharp flank pain below the ribs. This is renal colic, often among the most intense pains. It comes in waves as the ureter contracts to move the stone. Pain often moves downward toward the groin. Men may feel testicular pain. Blood in urine, pink, red, or brown, is common. Hematuria. You may urinate often, urgently, or with burning. Nausea and vomiting can make hydration hard. Red flags mean go to the ER immediately. Severe pain with fever and chills, possible kidney infection. No urine or very little for many hours signals dangerous blockage. Uncontrollable pain or ongoing vomiting needs urgent care. Don't wait. Seek help. Treatment depends on size, location, pain, blockage, and infection. Small stones often need fluids, 2 to 3 liters a day, and pain control. Alpha blockers relax the ureter, easing and speeding passage. Extracorporeal shock-wave lithotripsy breaks stones into passable fragments. Pieces pass in urine over days to weeks. Ureteroscopy uses a thin scope via urethra and bladder into the ureter. Stones are removed with a basket or fragmented by laser. Highly effective, especially for lower ureter stones. Okay. If stones are very large or complex, more advanced options clear the burden safely. Stones over 2 centimeters, or staghorn shapes, often need PCNL. Through a small back incision, a tunnel gives direct kidney access. A nephroscope guides ultrasonic or laser probes to break stones. Fragments are suctioned out. Success rates are high in one session. A ureteral stent keeps urine flowing so the ureter heals or drains. Stents can cause urgency and mild bleeding until removal. With infection, antibiotics and urgent drainage come first. Only after infection control do we remove the stone. Right. Experiencing a kidney stone is an event you'll never forget, and unfortunately, it's often not a one-time occurrence. After you've had one stone, your risk of forming another is significant, about 50% within the next 5 to 7 years. This statistic isn't meant to alarm you, but to empower you. It highlights why proactive prevention is not just a suggestion, but a necessity for your long-term kidney health. Understanding this risk is the first step toward taking control. Your most powerful defense strategy is simple: hydration. It is the absolute cornerstone of kidney stone prevention. When your urine is concentrated, the minerals that form stones can easily find each other and crystallize. By drinking enough fluid, aiming for 2 to 3 liters per day, you dilute your urine, making it much harder for these crystals to form. Your goal is to keep your urine consistently pale yellow, like lemonade. Water is your best choice, but other fluids can contribute. This single habit can cut your recurrence risk in half. Next, let's talk about your diet, starting with sodium. It's crucial to cut back on salt. A high sodium diet forces your kidneys to excrete more calcium into your urine. This excess urinary calcium is a primary ingredient for the most common type of kidney stones. Be mindful of hidden salt in processed foods, fast food, canned goods, and sauces. Reading labels and cooking more meals at home can make a tremendous difference in lowering your sodium intake and, consequently, your stone risk. For those who form calcium oxalate stones, you'll need to be mindful of high oxalate foods. This includes healthy items like spinach, rhubarb, beets, nuts, and even dark chocolate. However, the key is to limit these foods, not eliminate them entirely. They offer other important nutrients. The strategy is moderation and smart pairing. This brings us to a critical point about calcium. It may seem counterintuitive, but you should maintain a normal dietary calcium intake. Don't make the mistake of cutting it out. When you eat calcium-rich foods with your meals, the calcium binds to oxalate in your intestines. This prevents the oxalate from being absorbed into your bloodstream and passed to your kidneys. Good sources include yogurt, cheese, and fortified milk. If you're prone to uric acid stones, your dietary focus will be slightly different. You'll want to reduce your intake of animal proteins, especially red meat and organ meats, which are high in purines that break down into uric acid. Instead, shift your diet to favor more fruits and vegetables. When diet and hydration aren't enough, medications can provide targeted support. Thiazide diuretics can lower urinary calcium, allopurinol can reduce uric acid levels, and potassium citrate can make your urine less acidic and inhibit crystal formation. These are prescribed based on your specific stone type and risk factors. If you have recurrent stones, don't just treat the symptoms, investigate the cause. Ask your doctor for a metabolic workup, which includes blood tests and a 24-hour urine collection. This detailed analysis reveals exactly what's in your urine, like calcium, oxalate, and pH levels, pinpointing your specific risk factors and allowing for a truly personalized prevention plan. prevention is an ongoing process. It's essential to follow up with your healthcare provider to monitor your progress, adjust your plan as needed, and ensure you're on the right track. Remember, kidney stones are more than just painful. They can cause serious complications like urinary blockage, severe infections, and even permanent kidney damage or scarring. It's vital to take them seriously. So, let's recap your action plan. Hydrate diligently every day. Tailor your diet based on your stone type. And most importantly, partner with your doctor to create a sustainable prevention strategy. By taking these proactive steps, you have the power to significantly lower your risk, prevent future pain, and protect the long-term health of your kidneys. Health Talk made simple by Aziz.